The security guard's flashlight cuts through the November rain as Linda Carter approaches the gleaming tower. Her shoes squelch against wet pavement. Inside, Marcus Wellington adjusts his silk tie, unaware that the woman he once dismissed is about to walk back into his life. The elevator hums as Linda rises toward the penthouse where everything will change. Tonight, the man who refused to help her homeless son will discover what it means to have nothing left. Before we begin, tell me, where are you listening from right now? And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a story. Linda Carter's hands shake as she enters the marble lobby of Wellington Enterprises. The security desk gleams under crystal chandeliers. Her worn coat drips rainwater onto polished floors. She remembers working here 15 years ago, serving coffee and sandwiches in the employee cafeteria. The familiar scent of expensive cologne and leather briefcases fills her nostrils. "I'm here to see Marcus Wellington," she tells the guard. "Do you have an appointment?" His voice echoes off the high ceiling. "Tell him Linda from the cafeteria needs to speak with him." The guard's eyebrows rise. He picks up the phone, whispering into the receiver. Linda's heart pounds against her ribs. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, she watches expensive cars glide past in the rain. Her reflection stares back, a tired woman in her 50s, with worry lines etched deep around her eyes. "Mr. Wellington will see you now," the guard announces, but something cold flickers across his expression. The elevator climbs 40 floors in perfect silence. Linda's stomach churns as memories flood back. Marcus Wellington striding through the cafeteria like he owned the world, which he practically did. She'd served him black coffee every morning at 7:30 sharp. He never looked at her face, never said thank you. The elevator dings softly. Marcus Wellington's office spreads before her like a museum of wealth. Persian rugs cushion her steps. Oil paintings worth more than her annual salary line the walls. Behind a mahogany desk sits the man himself, silver-haired, sharp-suited, radiating the confidence that only billions can buy. "Linda," his voice carries no warmth. "I remember you from the cafeteria. Mr. Wellington, I need your help." He leans back in his leather chair, fingers steepled. The city sparkles 40 floors below them through massive windows. Linda can smell his expensive aftershave, can hear the soft tick of an antique clock. "My son Tommy is homeless," she continues, her voice barely steady. Marcus's smile turns arctic cold. "Tommy's been living on the streets for 3 months, Linda says, clutching her purse strap. "He lost his job, couldn't make rent. He's sleeping in doorways, Mr. Wellington." Marcus examines his gold watch with theatrical boredom. Rain patters against the windows. The office feels tomb quiet, except for that steady clock tick. Linda can taste desperation in her dry mouth. "I remember Tommy," Marcus says finally. "Wasn't he the kid who broke the cafeteria window? That was an accident. He was 12. Cost me $800 to replace." Linda steps closer to his desk. The Persian rug feels thick under her feet. She can see herself reflected in the polished mahogany surface, small, desperate, pleading. "He's my only child, Mr. Wellington. Winter's coming. He could freeze out there." Marcus stands, straightening his Italian silk tie. He walks to the window, hands clasped behind his back. The rain has turned to sleet, tapping against the glass like tiny fingers. "What exactly are you asking me to do?" The question hangs in the air like a blade. "Just give him a chance," Linda pleads. "Any job. Janitor, security, anything. He's a good worker when he's clean." Marcus turns from the window, his shadow falling across the expensive carpet. The sleet continues its relentless tapping. Linda can smell the leather of his shoes, can hear the soft rustle of his $1,000 suit. "When he's clean," Marcus's eyebrows arch. "So he has a drug problem." "He's been sober for 6 weeks. 6 whole weeks," he says with heavy sarcasm. "How impressive."
Linda's cheeks burn with shame and anger. The office suddenly feels arctic despite the warmth. She can hear her own breathing, shallow and quick. Through the windows, the city lights blur through sheets of rain. "Please, Mr. Wellington, I worked for you for 8 years. I was never late, never missed a day." "You served coffee, Linda. Anyone can serve coffee." The words hit her like physical blows. Marcus returns to his desk, settling into his leather throne with practiced indifference. His fingers drum against the mahogany surface, each tap echoing through the cavernous office. "Security will escort you out," he says, reaching for his phone. But Linda doesn't move, and her next words will change everything.
"You don't remember, do you?" Linda's voice cuts through the office silence like broken glass. "The morning your wife called." Marcus Wellington's hand freezes over the phone. Rain pounds against the windows with renewed fury. The antique clock seems to tick louder in the sudden quiet. Linda can smell the fear that begins to seep from his expensive cologne. "I don't know what you're talking about." "December 15th, 2009. You were in the cafeteria getting your usual black coffee." Marcus's face pales beneath his expensive tan. He slowly withdraws his hand from the phone. The leather chair creaks as he shifts uncomfortably. Outside, thunder rumbles across the city like an approaching army. "Your phone rang," Linda continues, her voice steady now. "You answered it right there at the counter." "What do you mean she's not breathing? That's what you said." The words hang between them like smoke. Marcus's breathing becomes shallow, audible in the thick silence. "You collapsed right there on the cafeteria floor." "I caught you," Linda says, stepping closer to the desk. "You were shaking so hard you couldn't stand, crying like a child." Marcus grips the edge of his mahogany desk. His knuckles turn white against the dark wood. The sleet outside has intensified, creating a wall of sound against the windows. Linda can hear his breathing, quick and panicked now. "I held you while you sobbed. Your wife had passed away in her sleep." "Stop. You begged me not to tell anyone. Please don't let them see me like this," you said. Marcus stands abruptly, his chair rolling backward. The Persian rug muffles his footsteps as he paces to the window. His reflection wavers in the rain-streaked glass like a ghost. "I drove you to the hospital myself, sat with you in the waiting room for 4 hours. "That's enough. You held my hand, Mr. Wellington. You said I was the only person who'd ever shown you real kindness." Marcus's shoulders begin to tremble, and Linda realizes she's found his breaking point. "The next morning, you acted like nothing happened. Walked past me in the cafeteria like I was invisible. Never said thank you, never acknowledged what I'd done." Marcus presses his forehead against the cold window glass. The storm outside mirrors the chaos in his voice when he speaks. "I was grieving. For 15 years, Mr. Wellington. 15 years of pretending I didn't exist." Thunder crashes overhead, shaking the building's steel frame. The lights flicker momentarily. Linda can smell the ozone from the storm, can feel the electrical charge in the air through the sealed windows. "I buried my kindness that day," she says quietly. "Learned that helping powerful men only teaches them to expect more." Marcus turns from the window, his face gray and hollow. Rain streams down the glass behind him like tears on a giant's cheek. "What do you want from me?" "The same thing I wanted then, just human decency." "I can't help your son." The words come out flat, final, but Linda can hear the uncertainty underneath. "Can't or won't?" Linda asks, her voice soft but cutting. Marcus returns to his desk with heavy steps. The Persian rug seems to drag at his feet. He sits down slowly, like an old man, though he's barely 60. The rain continues its assault on the windows. "I have shareholders to consider, board members. I can't hire drug addicts." "Former drug addicts." 6 weeks clean isn't former anything. Linda feels the familiar sting of dismissal, but this time she's ready for it. She reaches into her purse, pulling out a folded newspaper clipping. The paper crackles as she unfolds it on his mahogany desk. "Do you read the financial section, Mr. Wellington?" Marcus glances down at the newspaper. His face goes white as fresh snow. The headline reads, "SEC investigation deepens into Wellington Enterprises accounting practices." "How did you—" "My neighbor works at the Securities Exchange Commission." Marcus stares at the newspaper like it might burst into flames. His breathing becomes labored, audible over the storm. The truth is about to destroy everything he's built.
"They're freezing all your assets next week," Linda says, watching Marcus's face crumble. "Every bank account, every investment, every property." Marcus grabs the newspaper with shaking hands. The paper rustles like autumn leaves. Outside, the storm has reached full fury, lightning illuminating the office in stark white flashes. Linda can smell his fear sweat mixing with expensive cologne. "This is impossible. My lawyers said—" "Your lawyers are protecting themselves now, not you." Thunder explodes overhead. The building's lights flicker again, casting dancing shadows across the oil paintings. Marcus looks up from the newspaper, his eyes wide with disbelief. "How long have you known?" 2 months. 2 months, and you're telling me now?" Linda's smile holds no warmth. "I wanted to see if you'd help my son first. If you had any human decency left. You manipulative. Careful, you might need my help soon." The words stop Marcus cold. 3 weeks later, Linda answers her apartment door to find Marcus Wellington standing in the hallway. His expensive suit is wrinkled, his silver hair unkempt. The scent of desperation clings to him like cheap cologne. She can hear her neighbors' televisions through thin walls, smell coffee brewing somewhere nearby. "Linda," his voice cracks like a teenager's. She doesn't invite him in. Through her kitchen window, she watches pigeons pecking at breadcrumbs on the fire escape. The autumn air carries the sound of traffic from the street below. "They took everything," Marcus continues. "The house, the cars, even my clothes. I'm living in a hotel room. Unfortunate. The SEC seized my accounts. I can't access a penny." Linda leans against her doorframe, arms crossed. The hallway smells of cooking onions and old carpet. She can feel the radiator's warmth against her back, hear Marcus's stomach growling with hunger. "Why are you here, Mr. Wellington?" He swallows hard. "I need help." The irony tastes sweet on Linda's tongue. "Help with what, exactly?" Linda asks, though she already knows. Marcus shifts uncomfortably in the narrow hallway. His Italian leather shoes look out of place on the worn carpet. She can hear children laughing in a nearby apartment, smell dinner cooking through someone's open door. "I need a place to stay. Just temporarily." "Don't you have friends? Family?" "They won't return my calls." Linda isn't surprised. Fair weather friends disappear when the storm hits. She watches Marcus struggle with his pride, can see him shrinking before her eyes like an expensive suit in hot water. "I can pay you back when this is over." "When what is over, Mr. Wellington?" "When my lawyers clear this up, prove my innocence." Linda almost laughs. The sound builds in her chest like carbonation in a shaken bottle. Marcus looks so lost, so broken standing in her shabby hallway. The mighty have fallen, indeed. "Your lawyers dropped you 3 days ago," she says gently. Marcus's face goes gray as winter sky. "How did you—" "The same neighbor who works at the SEC." The truth hits him like a physical blow. "I have nowhere else to go," Marcus admits, his voice barely higher than a whisper. Linda studies his face, the desperate eyes, the trembling hands, the way his proud shoulders have collapsed inward. The hallway's fluorescent light casts harsh shadows across his features. She can smell his unwashed hair, hear his labored breathing. "What about your son in California? Your sister in Boston?" "They think I'm guilty too. The admission costs him everything." Linda watches tears gather in his eyes, the same eyes that looked through me for 15 years, the same eyes that dismissed my desperate plea for help. "Please, Linda, I'm begging you." The word begging hangs between them like a bridge neither wants to cross. Outside, a siren wails in the distance. The radiator clanks and hisses. Linda can taste the justice of this moment, sweet and bitter on her tongue. "Where's your pride now, Mr. Wellington?" "Gone," he whispers. "Along with everything else." Linda steps aside, opening her door wider, but her next words will test both of them in ways they never imagined.
"You can sleep on the couch," Linda says, leading Marcus into her tiny apartment. "But there are rules." The living room feels cramped after his former penthouse office. Second-hand furniture crowds the space. The carpet shows years of wear, and the walls need fresh paint. Marcus can smell canned soup heating on the stove, hear the neighbor's television through paper-thin walls. "No alcohol in my house. No drugs. No bringing women here." Marcus nods mutely, clutching a single suitcase, all he has left. The couch sags under his weight when he sits. Linda can see him calculating the difference between Egyptian cotton sheets and this worn fabric. "One more rule," Linda says, standing over him. "I help me find my son." Marcus looks up, confusion flickering across his haggard features. "Find him?" "Tommy's been missing for 2 weeks. Haven't seen him at his usual spots." The irony isn't lost on either of them. The homeless man searching for the homeless boy. They walk the city streets together, an unlikely pair. Marcus shivers in his thin designer coat, while Linda navigates the urban maze with practiced ease. The November air bites at their faces. She can hear Marcus's expensive shoes clicking against wet pavement, smell the fear radiating from his pores. "Tommy!" Linda calls into shadowed doorways. "Tommy, it's Mum!" Marcus stays close behind her, jumping at every sound. The city's underbelly frightens him. The homeless camps under bridges, the addicts huddled round trash can fires. Linda watches him discover a world that existed just blocks from his ivory tower. "How long has he been on the streets?" Marcus asked. 6 months now. Started with pills after his back injury. They checked the shelter on 5th Street. The volunteers know Linda by name, can see her desperation growing with each passing day. Marcus hangs back, overwhelmed by the humanity he never bothered to notice. "No sign of Tommy tonight," the shelter worker reports. Linda's shoulders slump with defeat. Back at the apartment, they sit in awkward silence. Linda heats soup while Marcus stares at television news. His own face appears on screen. FBI agents carrying boxes from Wellington Enterprises. The anchor's voice drones about alleged embezzlement and investor fraud. "I didn't steal anything," Marcus says quietly. Linda ladles soup into mismatched bowls. "Doesn't matter now, does it?" "My business partner, Richard Chen, You don't want to hear this." "No, I don't." They eat without talking. The soup tastes like cardboard to Marcus, but he's grateful for anything warm. Linda watches him struggle with the unfamiliar sensation of hunger, of genuine need. "Why are you helping me?" he asked finally. Linda sets down her spoon. The question hangs in the small kitchen like smoke from burnt toast. Outside, rain begins pattering against the window again. "Because someone has to. Even after how I treated you? Especially after how I treated you." Marcus doesn't understand, but he's too tired to ask for explanations. That night, Marcus lies awake on Linda's lumpy couch. Every car passing outside sounds like FBI agents coming for him. Every creak of the old building makes him flinch. The apartment smells like other people's cooking, other people's lives. He can hear Linda crying softly in her bedroom, grief for her missing son. His phone buzzes with another text from his lawyer. "Stop calling, I can't help you anymore." Marcus stares at the cracked ceiling, counting water stains like sheep. 3 months ago, he owned a $200 million company. Tonight, he's grateful for a stranger's couch and canned soup. The mighty don't just fall, they shatter. Through the thin walls, he hears Linda whispering prayers. "Please keep Tommy safe. Please bring him home." Marcus closes his eyes, but sleep won't come. Tomorrow they'll search again. two desperate people looking for redemption in the city's forgotten corners. He thinks about Tommy, somewhere out there in the cold. And for the first time in 15 years, Marcus Wellington genuinely cares about someone else's pain. The transformation has begun, but the hardest test still awaits them both. On the 7th day, they find Tommy behind St. Michael's Church, unconscious in the morning frost. Linda screams his name, dropping to her knees beside his still form. Marcus calls 911 with shaking fingers. The ambulance arrives within minutes, its sirens cutting through the winter air like knives. "Is he breathing?" Linda asks the paramedic. "Barely. Looks like hypothermia." At the hospital, they wait in plastic chairs under fluorescent lights. Linda holds Tommy's hand while he sleeps hooked to monitors. His face looks gaunt, aged beyond his 28 years. Marcus sits nearby, watching Linda stroke her son's hair with infinite tenderness. "He's going to be okay," the doctor reports, "but he needs proper shelter and medical care." Linda looks at Marcus with desperate eyes. They both know she can't afford extended hospital stays or rehabilitation programs. Marcus feels something crack open inside his chest, a door he'd kept locked for decades. "I'll pay for everything," he whispers. "You don't have any money left." "I'll find a way." Marcus sells his Rolex to a pawnshop owner who recognizes him from the news. He offers half its value, knowing Marcus has no choice. The watch feels heavy in Marcus's palm before he hands it over, his father's graduation gift, the last connection to better times. "This should cover the first month's treatment," Marcus tells Linda, pressing crumpled bills into her hands. Tommy's rehabilitation program costs $3,000 monthly. Marcus calculates quickly. His remaining jewelry might buy 2 more months. After that, he'll need to find work, real work, with his hands instead of his reputation. "Why are you doing this?" Linda asks. Marcus watches Tommy sleep peacefully for the first time in months. The monitors beep steadily, confirming life, confirming hope. The antiseptic smell can't mask the gratitude radiating from Linda's exhausted form. "Because 15 years ago, you caught me when I fell, and you forgot about it the next day." "No, I remembered every single day. I just couldn't face what it meant." The truth settles between them like fresh snow. 6 months later, Marcus works the morning shift at Sullivan's Diner, the same shift Linda once worked at Wellington Enterprises. His hands, once soft as silk, now bear calluses from washing dishes and mopping floors. The work is honest, and honest work feeds something in his soul he'd forgotten existed. Linda stops by during her lunch break from her new job at the community center. Tommy sits beside her, clean-shaven and clear-eyed, wearing the uniform of the construction company that hired him last month. The three of them make an unlikely family, bound by shared struggle and unexpected grace. "Any word from the lawyers?" Linda asks. "They cleared me of all charges. Richard Chen confessed to everything. Turns out he'd been embezzling for years." "So you could get your company back?" Marcus considers this while wiping down neighboring tables. The diner smells like bacon grease and fresh coffee. Through the windows he watches ordinary people living ordinary lives, beautiful in their simplicity. "I don't want it back," he says, surprising himself with the truth. Tommy and Linda exchange glances, understanding passing between them like shared breath. "I have everything I need right here," he continues, gesturing around the humble diner. "Real work, real friends, real purpose." Linda smiles, the first genuine smile she's given him since that day in his office. Tommy nods approvingly, respect growing in his young eyes. Outside, the city hums with life, but inside this small restaurant, 3 souls have found something more valuable than money. "You know what the difference is?" Marcus asks, sitting across from them during his break. "Before, I had everything but felt empty. Now I have almost nothing but feel full."
The diner's bell chimes as new customers enter. Marcus stands, straightening his apron, ready to serve. Linda watches him move with purpose, no longer the hollow man who once dismissed her desperate plea. "Thank you," she says simply. "For what? For letting me catch you when you fell." Marcus smiles, understanding finally flowing between them like a river finding the sea. Sometimes losing everything is the only way to discover what truly matters. Sometimes the people we help the least teach us the most about grace.